I'm 27 years old, and today, I'm leaving my girlfriend of almost 8 years. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. We met when we were both just starting out as young adults, full of hope and excitement for the future. Over the years, our lives became completely intertwined. We moved in together, decorated our first apartment, and made it feel like home. We spent countless nights talking about our dreams, where we wanted to travel, the careers we hoped to build, maybe even starting a family one day. We developed our own routines, from lazy Sunday mornings making breakfast together to evening walks around the neighborhood. We adopted pets, and caring for them became another way we grew closer, sharing responsibilities and little moments of joy. With every milestone we reached and every challenge we faced together, my belief in our relationship only grew stronger. I saw us as a team, supporting each other through ups and downs, and I imagined a future where we would continue to grow side by side. Every shared experience, whether it was celebrating birthdays, comforting each other during tough times, or simply enjoying quiet evenings at home, felt like another brick in the foundation of a life we were building together. I genuinely thought we were creating something permanent, that we were not just lovers but true partners, committed to facing whatever life threw at us, together, for the rest of our lives. But over the past few months, I started to notice subtle changes in her behavior that I couldn't ignore. She seemed more withdrawn, often lost in her own thoughts, and the warmth between us began to fade. Conversations that used to flow easily now felt forced, and she would sometimes seem distracted even when we were together. One thing that really stood out was how protective she became of her phone. She kept it with her at all times, even taking it into the bathroom or keeping it face down when we were sitting together. If a message came in, she'd glance at it quickly and put it away, never letting me see who it was from. I tried to convince myself that I was just being paranoid, that maybe she was just stressed or going through something personal. But no matter how much I tried to brush it off, the uneasy feeling in my gut kept growing stronger, and I couldn't shake the sense that something was seriously wrong between us. That night, as she lay next to me, her breathing slow and steady in sleep, I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing with worry and suspicion. I tried to fight the urge, telling myself that trust was the foundation of any relationship, and that I should respect her privacy. But the uneasiness I'd been feeling for weeks wouldn't let me rest. Every unanswered question, every strange moment, replayed in my head until I couldn't take it anymore. With trembling hands, I quietly reached over to her side of the bed, careful not to wake her. Her phone was right there on the nightstand, screen dark, almost daring me to pick it up. I hesitated for a moment, feeling a wave of guilt and anxiety wash over me. I knew that what I was about to do was wrong, that it crossed a line I'd always promised myself I wouldn't cross. But the need for answers, for some kind of clarity, was stronger than my fear of what I might find. I unlocked her phone, my heart pounding in my chest, and began to scroll through her messages. In that moment, I felt a mix of shame, desperation, and dread, fully aware that I was betraying her trust, but also feeling like I had no other way to find the truth. What I discovered completely broke me. As I scrolled through her phone, I found an overwhelming number of messages exchanged between her and a mutual friend of ours, someone who had moved out of state some time ago. At first, their conversation seemed innocent enough, just two old friends catching up and sharing stories. But as I kept reading, the tone began to shift. The messages became more personal, filled with inside jokes and playful teasing that felt just a little too intimate. Soon, the flirting became obvious. They started complimenting each other in ways that made my stomach drop, calling each other attractive, making suggestive comments, and hinting at things that went far beyond friendly banter. There were moments where they reminisced about times they'd spent together, and then the conversation would take a turn, with one of them making a bold, flirtatious remark and the other responding in kind. It was clear that boundaries had been crossed, boundaries that should have been respected in any committed relationship. With every new message I read, the sense of betrayal grew deeper, and I felt my trust in her unraveling with each word. My immediate reaction was a surge of pain and anger so intense that I wanted to get up, pack my things, and walk out of her life right then and there. The betrayal felt so raw and overwhelming that I could barely breathe. But as I sat there in the darkness, I realized that after everything we'd been through together, I owed it to both of us to at least give her a chance to come clean. Maybe, I thought, if she was honest with me, we could talk about what happened, or at the very least, I could leave knowing I had given her the opportunity to tell the truth. The next morning, my heart still heavy, I tried to act normal as we went about our usual routine. I waited for a quiet moment, then, trying to keep my voice steady and my words casual, I asked her if there was someone else in her life. I didn't mention the messages or the friend, I just left the question open, hoping she might take the chance to be honest. She looked me straight in the eyes, her expression calm and untroubled, and told me there was no one else. I had tried to prepare myself for that answer, telling myself I could handle it, but hearing her deny it so convincingly, knowing what I had seen the night before, cut deeper than I expected. The pain of her lie, delivered so effortlessly, made the betrayal feel even more real. I couldn't let it go. The weight of what I'd seen kept pressing on me, making it impossible to act like everything was normal. So, later that day, I decided to bring it up again. This time, I was more straightforward. I looked her in the eyes and told her I'd noticed she'd been talking to our mutual friend a lot lately, and I asked if anything inappropriate had happened between them. She hesitated for a moment, her face flickering with something I couldn't quite read. Then she finally admitted that he had sent her some flirty messages. She said he'd always been that way, that he liked to joke around and push boundaries, but she insisted she hadn't encouraged him. According to her, she just ignored the comments or brushed them off, and she claimed she wasn't interested in him at all. She did admit that she hadn't told him to stop, but she kept repeating that it was nothing serious, that it didn't mean anything, and that I was overthinking it. Even as she tried to reassure me, I could sense she was holding something back, and her words did little to ease the doubt and hurt I was feeling. I desperately wanted to believe her. After all, we had spent 8 years building a life together, sharing dreams, memories, and everyday moments. The thought of throwing all of that away over what might have been a misunderstanding felt unbearable. I kept telling myself that maybe I was just being paranoid, that maybe she really was telling the truth and I was reading too much into things. I clung to the hope that our relationship was strong enough to survive this, that the person I loved wouldn't betray me like that. But deep down, something still felt off. Her explanations didn't quite add up, and the uneasiness in my gut refused to go away. I found myself replaying our conversations in my mind, searching for signs I might have missed, and the doubt only grew stronger. Unable to shake the feeling that there was more to the story, I ended up checking her phone again, my hands shaking with a mix of fear and dread. This time, I dug deeper, scrolling further back through their messages. What I found made my heart sink. Not only had she been flirting back with him, laughing at his jokes, sending playful and suggestive replies, but she had also started talking about me behind my back. She shared details about our relationship, things I thought were private, and even made fun of me to him. Reading her words, seeing her insult me and confide in someone else about my flaws, hurt more than anything else I had discovered. It was like a punch to the gut, realizing that the person I trusted most had not only betrayed me, but had also made me the subject of ridicule in someone else's eyes. In that moment, the reality of the situation hit me with full force. As I sat there, reading her words and seeing just how far things had gone, I felt something inside me break. The trust one had in her, the foundation of our entire relationship, was gone. It wasn't just the flirting or the private jokes with someone else, it was the fact that she had chosen to share my vulnerabilities, my flaws, and the most personal parts of our life with another person, all while making me the punchline. And then, when I gave her the chance to be honest, she looked me in the eyes and lied, not once but multiple times. I realized in that moment that I couldn't stay. No matter how much history we had, or how many memories we created together, I couldn't be with someone who would betray me so deeply and then try to cover it up. The person I thought I knew and loved had become a stranger to me, and I knew that if I stayed, I would never be able to trust her again. The pain of her actions and her lies was too much to bear, and I understood that the only way forward, the only way to respect myself, was to walk away. The following morning, I lay in bed, wide awake, listening to the quiet sounds of her getting ready for work. My mind was racing, but I forced myself to stay calm, waiting for the right moment. When she finally woke up, she moved through our usual morning routine as if nothing had changed. She came over to my side of the bed, leaned down, and tried to kiss me goodbye. Her voice was soft as she apologized for tossing and turning all night, saying she hoped she hadn't kept me awake. Then she told me she loved me, just like she did every morning. I wanted to say it back, to pretend for one last moment that everything was okay, but the words caught in my throat. All I could manage was a weak, mumbled response, my heart too heavy to do more. The moment the door closed behind her, I felt a wave of sadness and relief wash over me. I knew what I had to do. I got up and started packing my things, grabbing whatever I could fit into my bags. As I moved around the apartment, our cats followed me everywhere, their eyes wide and anxious. It was as if they could sense the tension and sadness in the air, and they wouldn't leave my side, weaving between my legs and watching my every move. Seeing them like that, so confused and worried, made my heart ache even more. It was another painful reminder of the life I was leaving behind, and it broke me all over again. Before I left, I sat down and wrote her a note, my hand shaking slightly as I put pen to paper. I had drafted it on my phone countless times, trying to find the right words, the perfect balance between anger and finality. In the end, I decided on something short, direct, and to the point. I told her, in no uncertain terms, that I knew everything, about her messages with him, about the things she had said about me. I expressed my profound disappointment, not just in her actions, but in her lies. I made it clear that I didn't want her to contact me, that I needed complete space to process what had happened. I added that at some point, when I was ready, we would need to get together to discuss the logistics of separating our lives, but for now, I needed her to respect my need for distance and silence. It was the hardest letter I've ever written, but it felt necessary to lay out the truth and set my boundaries before I walked away. Now, I'm sitting in the spare room at my friend's place, surrounded by the quiet sounds of their pets moving around the house. There's a dog curled up on the rug and a few cats weaving in and out of the doorway, their presence both comforting and bittersweet. The room feels unfamiliar, filled with someone else's belongings, and I can't help but feel like a guest in my own life. My bags are stacked in the corner, hastily packed with whatever I could grab in the rush to leave. I keep replaying everything that happened in my mind, trying to make sense of it all. My heart feels heavy and raw, like there's a physical ache in my chest that won't go away. I feel completely lost, unsure of what comes next or how I'm supposed to start over after losing someone who was such a huge part of my world. There's a deep fear about the future, about being alone, about having to rebuild my life from scratch, about whether I'll ever be able to trust someone again. But even through all the pain and confusion, there's a small part of me that knows I made the right decision. As hard as it is, I know I couldn't stay in a relationship built on lies and betrayal. I keep reminding myself that I deserve honesty and respect, and that leaving was the first step toward healing, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. After everything came out, she kept trying to talk to me, desperate to explain herself. She would follow me around the apartment, her eyes red and swollen from crying, begging me to listen. Her voice would break as she apologized over and over, saying she never meant to hurt me, that things just got out of control and she didn't know how to stop it. She insisted that I was the most important person in her life, that what happened with him didn't mean anything compared to what we had. Through her tears, she promised she would do anything to fix things, that she couldn't imagine her life without me. Hearing her say she was sorry only made the pain sharper. Every apology was a reminder of the betrayal, and it felt like a fresh wound each time. I felt completely shattered, there was a constant ache in my chest, a mix of anger, sadness, and disappointment. Part of me wanted to believe her, to think that maybe we could work through this somehow, but the hurt was too raw and too deep. Watching her cry, hearing her voice crack, it all hurt, but nothing compared to the pain of knowing the person I trusted most had let me down. Caught in the middle of all this, I felt completely lost. I didn't know what to do or what decision to make. There was a part of me that wanted to hold her, to pretend none of this had happened, to cling to the years we spent together and the life we built. But there was another part, the part that was most wounded, that kept telling me I couldn't just ignore what she'd done. I was stuck in a storm of emotions, unsure if I should try to forgive her or walk away for good. One night, we decided to sit down and talk, both of us knowing that we couldn't keep avoiding the conversation any longer. The apartment was quiet except for the distant hum of the city outside, and we sat across from each other at the kitchen table, the weight of everything unsaid hanging heavily in the air. She was the first to speak, her voice trembling as she looked at me with red, tired eyes. She told me she knew she had hurt me more than she could ever say, and that she wished she could take it all back. She just needed me to know how sorry she was, and that she didn't want to lose me, but she understood if I couldn't forgive her. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my voice. I told her I wasn't sure what to say. I kept replaying everything in my head, all the good times and now all of this. I wanted to believe that we could get through it, but I didn't know if I could trust her again. I felt like I was standing on the edge of something, and I didn't know which way to go. She reached for my hand, her fingers shaking. She said she loved me, and that she knew she had messed up. She knew it wasn't fair to ask, but if there was any chance for us, she wanted to fight for it, even if it took time, even if it was hard. I hesitated, my heart torn between the years we shared and the pain I was feeling now. I told her I needed time. I needed to figure out if I could move past this, or if it was always going to be there between us. I didn't want to make a decision out of anger or fear. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. She said she would wait, and that she would do whatever it took. She just wanted me to know how much I meant to her. We sat there in silence, both of us lost in our own thoughts, uncertain about the future but knowing that, for now, all we could do was wait and see if healing was possible. Now that I've taken this huge, painful step, my focus has to shift entirely. My plan is to immerse myself in my work, equine care, which I genuinely love. Being around the horses and the routine of the stables has always been a source of calm and purpose for me, and I know it will be a much-needed distraction from the emotional turmoil. I'll also lean heavily on my friends. I've already reached out to a few, and just talking to them, even about mundane things, has been a small comfort. I'm looking forward to going to our usual brewery. It feels like a small piece of normalcy I desperately need. Beyond that, I know I have a lot of figuring out to do. This isn't just about moving on from a relationship, it's about rediscovering who I am outside of it. 8 years is a long time to be intertwined with someone, and I need to find my own footing again, my own interests, my own sense of self. I know this journey won't be easy, there will be days filled with sadness, loneliness, and doubt. But deep down, despite the fear and the pain, I have a quiet certainty that I will get through this. I have to believe that eventually, the hurt will lessen, and I'll find my way back to happiness, stronger and more resilient than before. To anyone out there who might be going through something similar, who has felt that gut-wrenching betrayal or the slow erosion of trust in a relationship, I want you to know that I understand the depth of your pain. I know how much it hurts to have your world turned upside down, to question everything you thought was real, and to feel completely lost and heartbroken. The emotional weight can feel unbearable, and it's easy to get trapped in a cycle of doubt and self-blame. But please, remember this, you deserve honesty. You deserve respect. You deserve a partner who values you, who is transparent with you, and who would never intentionally cause you this kind of pain. Don't let anyone convince you that you're overreacting, or that your feelings aren't valid. Your worth is not tied to someone else's actions, and you should never, ever settle for less than a relationship built on genuine trust, integrity, and mutual respect. It's incredibly difficult to walk away from something you've invested so much in, but sometimes, leaving is the bravest and most self-loving thing you can do for your own well-being and future happiness. I'm still navigating the uncertainty of what comes next for us. We haven't made any final decisions about our future, and the conversation about logistics still looms. Yet, with each passing day spent focusing on my work, leaning on my friends, and simply existing in this new, independent space, I feel a subtle sense of turning a page. There is a growing realization that, for now, returning to what was is likely not an option. The trust is too broken, the hurt too deep to simply pick up where we left off. While I can't predict what the distant future holds, or if time will ever truly heal these wounds enough for a different path, for now, I'm focused on my own healing, and that means moving forward, one step at a time. And so, as I navigate this new chapter, I carry with me not just the pain of what was lost, but also a growing sense of hope for what lies ahead. This journey of healing is far from over, and there will undoubtedly be tough days, but I'm learning to embrace the unknown. I'm rediscovering my own strength, finding joy in small moments, and building a future that is truly my own. If you're walking a similar path, remember that even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found. You are resilient, you are worthy of love and happiness, and you will emerge from this stronger than ever before. Keep moving forward, keep believing in yourself, and know that brighter days are always on the horizon.